Hello lovelies! In today's video I am going back to my roots and I'm going to read you another story, but this story is a little bit different because I wrote it myself. So I struggle with like depression and stuff like that, and so I read somewhere that one type of therapy is to be creative. So write something, draw something, create something. And it's a therapeutic way to get out your feelings and your thoughts. And so I wrote this short story about what depression feels like to me. And it may be different for other people. It may not resonate with you quite like it resonates with me, or it might resonate with other people. I can't speak today. But I hope you enjoy it, and here we go. It started small. So small I barely even noticed it. It was a feeling all too familiar to me. She was returning. She had been frequently visiting me these last few months, and I was starting to get tired of it. Her presence never meant good things. She would always show up at the most inopportune times. This time it was while I was out with my friends. I could faintly hear her voice in the back of my mind. They'll never be enough for you. You'll get tired of them eventually and blow them off for someone else. And after so long, they'll get tired of it and leave you, just like everyone does. I tried to pretend I couldn't hear her cold, cruel voice and continue to enjoy my friend's company. But that didn't discourage her. She was persistent. Her voice grew louder with each passing minute. I tried to shoo her away, but that didn't work either. I could feel her starting to spread through my body like an infection. My desperate attempts to keep her contained only made her stronger. She fed on my fear like a tick feeds on blood. Eventually, my body began to feel cold, as if I had a fever. But I knew that she had gotten too strong for me to contain much longer. I quickly came up with an excuse for me to have to go back home, told my friends goodbye, and left. In the car, I played my favorite song on repeat in hopes that it would take some of her power away and buy me some time. I had to get home before she fully emerged. My body had grown so cold that I began to shiver. I was running out of time. I pulled into my parking lot and walked as quickly as I could to my apartment. I barely managed to shut the door behind me before collapsing in a cold sweat. It was beginning. Thick, black steam began to roll off my skin and poured over the floor. "Just go away," I pleaded weakly as I lay, shivering, unable to move. "I will be the only one who will never leave you," her voice echoed in my head. I watched the fog begin to swirl like a tornado in front of me, gaining speed until a woman in a long black gown and silky hair to match stepped out, causing the fog to dissipate. "I don't want you here," I said through grit teeth. "How hurtful," she mockingly pouted, leaning down to me. "Get up." She didn't give me but a second before she had a hand wrapped around my throat and with the strength of a full-grown man, picked me up and slammed me into the wall. "You don't listen well," she sighed, "which is why I keep having to come back and teach you my lessons." I kicked my feet and grabbed her wrist, desperately trying to get out of her grasp. "When will you learn?" Without warning, she let go, and I crumpled to the floor. I gasped for air as I hit the ground and immediately started coughing. Just at that moment, my phone chimed from my purse. That was it. If I could get someone on the phone to distract me, she would lose power. But my purse was about 3 feet away, and she was between me and it. "Oh?" She turned around and leaned down to grab my purse, pulling my phone out from inside. "And what do we have here?" Her voice dripped with mocking excitement. "So much material. Where do I start?" She crouched down as she unlocked my phone. She tapped a few times and then turned the phone to face me. It was a post on Facebook that I had been tagged in, a memory from someone else's timeline, with a message that said, "Miss you all," and a heart. The picture was of 6 teens, one of which was me, although 3 years younger. The other people in the group were my high school friends. We had tried to keep up with each other when we all went to college, but eventually we drifted apart. "What a bitch, right?" she said. "If she truly cared, she would just text you, right?" Tears began streaming down my cheeks. "Please don't do this," I begged. I wouldn't have to if you would just learn these lessons I'm trying to teach you. She flipped the phone back towards her and began scrolling. How many of these people actually care about you? She asked rhetorically. Oh, she suddenly stopped scrolling and smiled sinisterly. She turned the phone and I was faced with a picture of my ex next to a girl. They both looked really happy. I didn't know he had already started seeing someone else. My heart hurt and the tears continued to stream down my cheeks. She pulled the phone away and began to click on things. She stopped and stared at the phone for a moment, pleased with her findings. She turned it back to me to reveal a picture of me and my ex together. I only looked at it for a moment before I buried my face in my hands. My heart ached remembering him. He left you because you were worthless, she seethed. Same for everyone else who has come into your life, or will come into your life. I pulled my knees up to my chest and buried my face in them, moving my hands to cover my ears. Stop, I said weakly. Your existence means nothing and no one would be bothered by your death, she continued. You live the same damn boring life every day. Nothing will change and nothing will get better. What if she was right? What if nothing ever improved? That would be a miserable existence. Did I really want to live a life like that? Just listen to me. Her voice grew soft, almost soothing. You have all those pills. Just end it. Make things easier on yourself and everyone else. You wouldn't have to deal with losing anyone else or your life at all. The things that stress you out, the things that upset you, they'll all disappear. She picked my head up to look at her. It sounded so easy. Suddenly my nephew flashed across my mind. What was I thinking? I couldn't let him grow up hearing stories of the aunt he never got to know. No! I screamed as I mustered up every ounce of energy I had left and lunged for the phone. My quick movements caught her off guard, and with one swift movement, I snatched the phone from her and got to my feet. Before she could react, I ran for my bedroom and slammed the door behind me, leaning against it to keep her out. I opened my contacts and scrolled until I found my mom's. I didn't give myself the option to think twice before I clicked the call button. She slammed into the door and began banging on it and screaming at me through it. The phone rang for what felt like an eternity before Mom picked up. Hello? Her voice was sweet. And just like that, the banging stopped, and I fell to the floor sobbing with relief into my phone. Honey, are you okay? My mom sounded panicked. I am now, I said. So hopefully you guys enjoyed that story. Like I said, I just wrote it when I was feeling some emotions. So I just wrote what I was feeling into the story. But that's it for today. So if you guys liked it, give it a big like. If you want to see more, then go ahead and subscribe. And if you have any ideas for future videos, leave those in the comments below. And until next time, stay magical, my friends.